When a coach takes the responsibility of going heads up in the same corner with a fighter against another fighter, the job is the same as one who's a general in an army. They're to strategically create a plan and roll that plan out, making sure that the fighter is the beneficiary of that battle. But sometimes coaches come into the game to show what they know. And the reality is that is the thing that can end up backfiring and hurting a fighter more than the opponent. Strategically, the opponent comes in to dismantle what the coach does for that other fighter. But the coach can also be an adversary of that opposition's game plan. And what do I mean by that? Because they can be focused so much on wanting people to know how much they know and putting and posting it out on social media as if the opposition's not going to see this, that the onus becomes more about the coach than the actual fighter. And why am I speaking to this? The reason why I'm speaking to this is because Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder has had a very smart coach in his corner. And this coach has a great boxing lineage behind him. Some of the greatest boxing minds of all time. The difference, excuse me, between being a teacher and being a trainer is the trainer goes through facets in the camp that'll help improve the program mediums, the speed, the power, the agility, the thinking process of a fighter. But a teacher teaches the most valid points of the fight. When you start to merge those things together, you start to get a mesh of confusion. The messaging starts to be hard to process. And when you look at what very smart trainer in Malik Scott has done, has created a very wise looking forum to conversate to the audience, those who are looking on. My concern about doing that is prior to the last Tyson Fury fight, when I saw what strategically they were doing, I knew that it was not right. To finish off a fighter like Tyson Fury, you have to set traps. You can't walk directly in. He's a counter puncher. He thinks like a counter puncher. He's a responder. He responds to what you throw at him. And so he knew that they were coming. He added on a lot of muscle mass, which was wrong to do in a short stint. Muscle mass has to be gained over a period of time. Andre Ward, Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter would not let Andre Ward go to 175. It took almost a decade because he understood the body must settle, the weight must settle. Deontay Wilder could have gained weight. The thing about it, he's tried to gain 20 pounds, nearly 20, 15, 20 pounds in one camp. And so therefore the body is all exhausted from additional muscle. This was a strategy. This was Malik Scott learning on the job, not ever having to work with a world championship level caliber fighter because he was just retired. He's actually been in camps. He's been the fighter. He's been a champion. The thing is, when you're fighting against someone is one thing. When you are the actual trainer, teacher, coach, it's a different, absolute different monster. So I want you to stay with me here because what I'm about to give you is something that I don't want the coaches who are coming up to forget. I post in social media to educate coaches. I'm not working with fighters, right? So the thing about it is you got to be careful how much you want to show for the cameras and try to show everybody what you know, because we know that you know some things and you have a very deep lineage. I don't think that you realize when you're pouring out so much. It's just like telling somebody your business plan. When you talk too much, you're releasing air out of the actual module that you're building. So that module is reduced in plan effectiveness. Now, let me rewind this back to the actual fight when he fought Fury. I'm going to tell you all the things that they didn't do right, or they could have made an adjustment. We reached out to Shelly Finkel way before that and offered some suggestions, and they felt like that their camp was already stacked. So, therefore, our team decided, okay, we won't press the situation. We'll see what it looks like. Of course, he doesn't know about the actual fighting. He knows about the fight game and the business behind it. But what we wanted to do is not see a champion be dismembered, and dismantled by having lack of knowledge on how to handle certain situations. It's a simple open and shut case what he needs to do as a fighter. He's a big puncher. So he doesn't have to chase people because he understands these people are going to only try to counter and crawl up in the shell and hide. So therefore, that's only gonna work for so long. It worked for 40 fights. Now it's backfiring. So you have to be able to adapt. They didn't make an adjustment. They went further. They leaned further into a bad game plan. Which, if Tyson Fury didn't have a chin, it wouldn't have been a horrible game plan because it would have been the same turnout or outcome as Bermain Stavern. Now, here we go. I did a show pre-fight that this idea was bad. You can go back, the date is on the video in the studio. We did an actual physical breakdown, and I said what was not going to work. And the next day, the exact same thing that I said happened. It didn't work all the way. And rolling dice like that at this level is not formidable. It's not beneficial. You have to think about it. It could have been a much easier fight, even though they're the highest level of fighting. You got to realize that you must have the understanding of the adjustment and not want to show people your hand. I said, training Mayweather style mitts, unless you're just doing fitness, is not going to benefit you fighting someone like a Tyson Fury. You need to be able to set traps. Rolling shoulder, great way. Knowing how to use the Philly shell, another great way. But moving forward consistently, just walking a guy down that way, unless it's the end of the fight, he's gassed out, you've been working the body, putting all the energy in the punches is a thing that most fighters do. Stay with me. And so later on in the fight, they don't have that same gas. Tyson Fury wasn't knocking Deontay Wilder down from the power of the punch. It was knocking him down because of the exhaustion of Deontay's own body. That's strategy gone array. Now, what we got to do, we got to figure this thing out. When you are fighting a fighter and telling everybody what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, showing off all of the physical attributes which have not much to do with boxing. When you're boxing against a pugilist who's tied to someone with a boxing lineage from one of the greatest minds who's on Mount Rushmore, Emmanuel Stewart. When you're in that down line, you're going to have some understanding of the game. Sugar Hill has an understanding of the game, understood the science, understood Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott's options. He understands that there's an option out there that they don't want those guys to figure out. And once again, they're in that same boat. But what you're seeing is the Malik Scott, the experience level as a teacher at this level is different. Some would say it's good to have someone like that to manifest your confidence up, but to be head of that ship, you're going to need someone that is a strategic master with experience of strategy in fights of that magnitude and who understands how to make adjustments in a fight, not going into a fight with a game plan and making the fight more about themselves than the actual fighter, regardless if he wins this next fight or not. All it takes is a Tom Brady, Coach Belichick, one of these minds who understands the art of boxing, hit and not get hit, setting people's trap, making people make mistakes. And once again, they will be in the same boat. I did a post fight, I did a pre fight. I'm on record with every time you see any major fight. This is what I do. I make it clear what's going right and what's going wrong in our sport, and with the trainers, not to make them feel bad, but to make them pay close attention so that when you hear the critique, it's the benefit, it's the thing that's going to make you better. Because I am honestly a fan of the process, the things that those guys are doing. It's just the manner that you got to roll it out when you are an Emmanuel Stewart. Let the other people film you doing things. Let the other people, the media has that. When you start putting your own energy into filming your own stuff to put out there, this Shan is more about, it's literally saying that it's more about you than it is about the actual outcome. And when that's the case, you got to throw your hands up and kind of rewind this thing. And I could really, care less who sees this, because that's the facts. At this level, you cannot allow yourself to expose what you're trying to do, what you're focused on, giving people insight to all of the things that you go through personally to develop this guy, because it's just like when you come back from a loss, you can't let them see you coming now. I said it before, I'm saying it again. When you make it more about yourself, what happens is the fighter starts to be only the huckleberry, the thing that you're utilizing to blow yourself up into this space of minds who were prior and came before us. The thing is actually happening is you're exposing all of the beautiful gifts you have, and that can all be adjusted and it can be fixed. So as I see this fight coming, my thing is this: anything can happen when you jump onto an opportunity to mass up or to lose a lot of weight. You go from one extreme to the next, where that weight could have just settled in and come in midpoint, because the guy that you're fighting this time, you're probably going to need a little bit of heavy density. All you got to do is work on the dexterity of the body. Don't focus on weight training and stuff like that. Focus wise, you can do high repetition count to develop the tone, blood flow, VO2. They're methods of training the body where your VO2 max matches what you're going to need output wise. The levels of oxygen and that your body can retain and put out, all of these things are science when it comes down to human physiology. Don't jump the gun. Don't go from one extreme to the next and thinking that is the top of that triangle or that pyramid. It's all about having clarity and being surrounded by the right information, and that's what's going to put you on the right path. But taking taking liberty to put everything out there on Front Street, uh, it's not the way, and making it about more about your mind than it is the fighter. Let the outside forces ask for that information and you give up what you want. Don't be the one volunteering all this information, because it's obvious you understand everything that you're talking about. The thing about it is, we all got to learn at the new level. Cognitive mastery is one thing, emotional mastery is where you're at. But physical mastery is not making the mistakes. Physical mastery is where you need to be and get to. So that's embedded in your muscle memory, like Emmanuel Stewart and all of the greats. That's all I got, man. If you guys have any predictions and anything that you see coming up in these type fights, drop it down in the comment box. This is your boy. I wanted to drop some pearls. Hopefully, you guys are tuning in and we keep our hands crossed for the sport of boxing. And until next time, continue blessings. And I'll see you guys soon. Boom, in the winner's circle. Special shouts out to my brothers and Championship Academy, the university where we show you the map to make world champion level fighters. Till next time, we out. Peace.